Cool. Back for another episode. I think this one is really like kind of realtor focused. So I think it'd be best if I ask the questions and then
so
you kind of answer. So I'm kind of interviewing you in a sense.
So you are putting me on the spot.
A little bit. And it was your idea for the video. So this is
No. It was not my idea for the video. I was just having a conversation with you.
Okay.
And giving some stats.
Gotcha.
And
it's a good stat. I think people should know about it. 70,000 real estate agents across the country left the industry in from the start of 2023 to the end of 2023. And that's not even finished yet, right? We still have a little bit of the year to go, so it could go up. But at least 70,000.
I think the number could be higher.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because personally I know a few agents that quit the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that number, we are talking about people who hang up their licenses.
Yeah.
And walked away. But we still have agents in the industry who are still licensed, but mentally, emotionally,
they're out.
They're out.
Or how about I know a bunch of agents that have another job or got another job during this year. So that 70,000 is just the ones that actually basically deleted and stopped being able to be real estate agents.
Yeah, and it's very scary. It's very scary, and like the first time I looked at a number, I was like, holy shit, right? And every single day when I wake up, I only ask myself a question: how can I not be a part of the statistics?
Yeah.
Like, how can I make a difference? How can I, just go another day of being an agent? Because we cannot lie to us. This industry, it's so unpredictable. You don't even know what's going to happen next, right? And the only thing we can pretty much do is control what we can do on a daily basis for us to just be in business. And I am so grateful to just be able to be in the business and to be selling.
Yeah. You say you know people in the industry that have left and hung up their license.
100%.
What do you think the disconnect is? What are you doing to be, successful, $15 million in sales this year compared to those that were so unsuccessful that they only didn't have bad years, but they had to completely shift jobs to be able to provide for their family? Like what are you doing that they're not, or what are they doing that you're not?
I think number one is mindset, right? We have so many people who got into this industry. I wouldn't say for the wrong reason, but there was a wave of people getting into the industry pre-COVID when rates were like 2%, 3%, and houses were flying off of the shelf, and people were thinking like, oh, even anybody can sell houses, right? That's when we had all these many people coming into this industry, but they didn't know why they got into this industry. They wanted to make more money. We all got into this industry to make more money. That's fair enough, but you have to have a plan, right? When you get into this industry, okay, I want to make $500,000, for example, or even say 100,000. How am I going to get to 100,000, right? People don't have systems.
Sure.
People don't have processes. And real estate agent, to be honest, they just don't want to do the work. Simple as that. Most of them, many of them. I'll be talking to agents and then they're not really doing businesses. And when they're asking you questions and you are giving them responses and you are telling them a few things they could be doing, they sound like they're only giving excuses for not doing it.
I think some people think those that are successful have a secret that they don't have.
No, there is no secret.
There is no secret, right?
There is no secret as far as a magic type of thing to be doing. You have to have a plan, and your plan has to consist of building relationships on a daily basis,
right?
Which equate to prospecting. We call it prospecting, but prospecting really is building relationships, right? Getting in front of more people.
Yeah.
Having conversation with people. The more relationships you have, the more conversation you have, the more deals you have to close.
For sure.
When you have that, you have now to take action to be doing it, right? People be like, oh, prospecting, I have to prospect. But how many times do you prospect in a week, and for how long?
Yeah.
Don't come to me and say, oh, I've talked to 5 people the last week. No, you are not going to do any business,
right?
If you're only talking to 5 people. So, to go back to your question, I feel like it's a lack of commitment, lack of systems, lack of processes, and lack of action.
Yeah. So what can an agent that maybe skated by in 2023, didn't lose their license or didn't hang it up or whatever, or somebody that's now going to be getting their license in 2024, what can they do to ensure that they're not part of that statistic? Obviously, it's, put in the work, do the things, but like at the beginning, what can they do to kind of structure themselves and set themselves up for success? What does that look like?
So what I would say is, number one, they have to understand that this job is hard. This is going to be pretty much the hardest gig they have ever done, right? Because to get people to trust you, to do business, you have to trust yourself first. By trusting yourself, you have to be committed, right? If I tell you, hey, Jake, I'm going to be calling 20 people a day to prospect, and I only call 10, I am not committed to what I said I was going to do, which means I am not committed to myself, which means I don't trust myself enough to be doing it, right? You have to trust yourself in putting in the work, because you have to do the work to actually close this. Your level of grind has to always equal to your goals. That's why I always tell people, be willing to put yourself out there, to take action, to drive conversation, and you'll be getting results.
Yeah. I think confidence is key, and I don't think confidence is necessarily a choice by any means. It's just somebody that's put in the work to have more repetitions, to be more knowledgeable around what they're doing, where they feel like they can have the confidence to go in, right? If you have a conversation with one person and you go into the next conversation or your second conversation ever, you're not going to be that conversational or that confident. But if you have 100 conversations, on that 101st one, you're going to be a heck of a lot more confident than you were on that first one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, communication, like building the skill set to communicate with people, doesn't come naturally. When I was driving to here, I was telling to myself, confidence is a skill set that you have to build. And I was thinking of when I got into real estate, I couldn't even get in front of the camera to talk, right? And the more I've done it, the easier it became. And I remember
anything else.
I remember the first time we shot with Gray, my home tour. I don't even watch that anymore. Like, don't even go on my YouTube to check it out.
Check it out.
Right? I was so scared, so afraid to just present the house I was trying to sell. Right? But what I learned along the way is confidence is a skill set. We are not born confident.
No.
We are going to learn that along the way. And for the people who didn't sell anything this year, it's fine. Business has been hard. So now we are heading into 2024. Ask yourself the question, how many activities did you do? How did you do it? What was the strategy behind it? And who did you surround yourself with? Because that's going to also play a huge role into your success, right? Like personally, I know I can talk to people. I know I can build relationships. But for me to start really having results, as much as I was talking to people, I wasn't really talking to people the proper way, number one. And when I was hosting open houses in the beginning, I was not hosting open houses the proper way either. So I had to go back to my mentor, Scott, and we had to have a sit down.
And figure it out.
Yeah, and go over what I was doing. Right?
I think a lot of people are pretty unreasonable, right? They think they're just going to be good at something. No one is really just born with any sort of skill. In very few circumstances is that true. You get skills from trying and failing over and over and over and over again. So you are great on camera. You're great at conversation. You're confident, all those things. But when you got in the industry 2 years ago, when I took you out to lunch for that first time, when I don't even think maybe you've sold a house yet, you didn't have any of those skills.
No, I didn't. I did not. You have to surround yourself with, I was watching a video the other day that says, lions, they hang out with, lions don't hang out with hyenas. They only hang out with lions, because if a lion only hangs out with other lions, then the standard for a lion is being a lion. So the issue with us and success sometimes is that we don't associate ourselves with people who are doing business, people who are already getting it. People are so afraid of change. Like, listen, you are a lion. And if you are hanging out with hyenas, you are never going to have the lion studies.
Right.
You have to hang out with lions. If I want to be doing businesses, I have to hang out with people who are doing it.
Right.
That's why I go to masterminds. That's why I go to conferences. That's why I go to all these things, to talk to people who are doing better than I do,
right.
for me to learn from them. Because if someone sold 50 plus million this year and I did not, that person knows something that I do not.
Yeah.
That person is doing a business in maybe a different way that I do not, right? So I need to get myself in front of that person. I need to hang out with that person to understand what is that person doing that I'm not doing for me to get to that level.
And it's very hard to go from a comfortable like circumstance or situation that you're in where you're kind of the top dog, whatever that might look like. Maybe you're the most successful from your high school friends or whatever, but there's always going to be a group that's
better
higher up than you, right?
Always.
When I made my first $10,000 check in a month, I was like, holy cow, like this is a lot of money. But then I'm hanging out with people that are making $100,000 a month. And then I feel small again, which is good.
Yeah, and then when you get to 100,000 a month, then you're going to meet up with that guy that makes $500,000 a month. Then you'll be like, holy shit.
Then you're going to feel small again.
Right.
You're going to learn what they're doing. You're going to acquire those skills to be able to do it.
Yeah, this is good because I just posted something lately, which is like mastery. People feel like it's a point that you get when you've learned everything you can possibly learn. But for me, mastery is a notion of being a forever student.
Right.
Like just you said, you make 10 grand a month. There are people who are making 100,000 a month, right? They are always going to be someone doing better than you.
Right.
So you have to be willing and have this open mindset of, okay, I am a forever student. There is always more for me to learn. There is always more for me to like improve. Mm-hmm. And that's how you get better and better and better. And the way you do it is you are going to associate yourself with people who are better than you, smarter than you, stronger than you,
right,
for you to improve. Because if I am the smarter person in the room, then I'm in the wrong room.
Absolutely. Never be the smartest in the room. I'm really, really good at that because it's easy for me to not be the smartest in the room. But yeah, I think that's a good piece of advice.
Yeah. So, and don't be afraid of change. If you spend 12 months with a group and you are not doing any business with that group, something needs to change. Either you are the wrong person for that group, or that group is the wrong group for you.
Yep.
But something needs to change. Either you change the group, or if you stick in there, you are just going to have the exact same results as this year.
I think being realistic is a skill that a lot of people don't have as well. I think a lot of people look in the mirror and honestly think to themselves that they worked hard, let's say this year. They think they did everything.
They do, but the question should really be, they work hard, but what are they working hard on?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I was having this conversation with you before we start. Like, a lot of people are working hard, and I see that. Like, I know a bunch of people personally that work super hard, but when you look at what they are doing, they are working hard on like things that are not going to produce for them. For me, if you look at my schedule, I have a time block which I call like the money making activities. These are my green activities, and these activities, that's what's going to make me money. That's what gets me leads. And those activities consist on one thing and one thing only: building relationship with people in any way possible.
Right.
Like if I have to cold call them, if I have to DM them, if I have to host an open house, if I have to meet them in a coffee shop, if I have to meet up with them at the gym, whatever the case may be, I have 20, like I need to talk to at least 20 people minimum every single day, which is almost 600 people in a month.
Right. And you wonder why you're good at conversing with people. It's because you've built up a skill set over the course of these 2 years where you're having 20 conversations a day, every single day. You probably sucked at it for the first month, probably 2 months, probably 6 months, even maybe the first year. You could have sucked at it.
Like in the beginning, I was doing cold call, right? And at some point, instead of people hanging up on me,
you were just hanging up. Hanging up on them.
I was definitely hanging up on people.
Right. Because you were just
sucked.
Yeah, you didn't know what you were doing. You were probably nervous. Your shirt was sweating. You probably had to change shirts even though you were just in your living room.
Yeah. I called somebody one day that was a long time ago. It was an Inspire listing. It asked me a simple question: what would you do differently than the other agent? I hang up. Boom.
Yeah. Didn't have an answer.
No, I didn't.
But I'll tell you what, you hear that once, next time you're like, and that's the other thing. You need to be strategic when you're doing these things. You don't just gain a skill from just doing them. You have to learn from them all the time. Right. So you probably got that question. You go, oh shit, I don't have an answer for that.
What I did was, the more I was talking to people, I started to actually document what are the top 5 objections that people always give me. And then I listed those objections. The number one was, I'm not interested.
Right.
That was the number one objection. I am not interested, right? But so how do you overcome that objection?
And just let me butt in here. A new agent or unexperienced agent does not know the answer to that question right now. They're listening because they want to know what the hell you have to say right now.
Yeah, reach out to me.
Yeah.
Reach out to me, then I would. I mean, the number one mistake is salespeople, when someone asks you, I'm not interested, or why would I work with you? People get defensive.
Right.
People really get defensive with that question. They are going to start talking about, oh, we do better than this, we do better than that, right? You have to take sales out of the equation from them.
Totally.
At that moment, you have to disarm the person. You have to disarm your prospect, right? And but the way you disarm your prospect, if someone says, how could you do better than, or even, how do you think this relationship will be a good fit for us to work together? I can say, I'm not sure yet. We are going to figure it out together, right? And at that point, you disarm the sales speech away from the person, and you just get them to cool off a little bit. Then you
they
proceed.
know you're a real person.
Yeah.
And now you can have a real conversation
then
rather than them
real
thinking they're talking with a corporation, essentially.
Yeah. I have a listing that I'm going to be basically taking photos after this today. Mm-hmm. And when I went to listing appointment, I had no presentation. Right? I walked there, and I started to talk to the seller. And then when we started talking, I told him, listen, I know you've had a bunch of people coming to your house already, like a lot of agents that you interviewed. You told me that over the phone. But my question is, what are the 5 things that an agent needs to have in place in order to list your house? I'm not talking about me. You are going to hire an agent to work with you. What are the 5 things that an agent needs to have in place for them to list a property?
Yeah.
Now they are going to tell me exactly what I need to do to win the fucking listing.
Yeah. Pretty easy. You have those memorized, and then you give them a call the next day. You go, hey, I was thinking about those things. Here's what I bring to the table. And he's like, oh, shoot, this guy checked all 5 of my boxes. He probably thinks you're a genius and you read his mind.
No, he gave me the it's like walking into an exam room and you have like all the responses already. Yeah. And when I asked him the question, he gave me the answers. Then when I went back, I did my homework. I came back to meet up with him a few days later. Now I have my listing presentation.
Okay.
With what?
Those 5 answers.
Those 5 answers.
Right.
And now we are listing the house like $750.
That's a check. That's a big check.
Yeah, that's a big check. Like heading into the new year, that's a pretty good one. But
especially this time of year, yeah.
But the cool thing is, it's in a neighborhood where I can also get a few other listings.
Right.
Just by selling that house, that's going to open up a lot of conversation for me.
And during that transaction, if you do a good job, I mean, you can set the precedent early, be like, hey, if I get this thing sold for you at the price you want to sell it, would you give me 2 potential people that you know that are looking to buy or sell in the near future?
Yeah, definitely.
And then boom, you get in contract for that price that he wants. You say, hey, I did my job. I got you in contract at that price. Remember, you said you were going to give me those 2 people. Can I have their name, email, phone number? And then boom, not only do you have the listing, you have it pending, you're going to get a check in 30 days, and you have 2 more leads to go do the same thing with.
Yeah, definitely. So just to summarize this, for all the agents struggling or even that left the business, they left for the simple fact, most agents don't have systems in place. Mm-hmm. Most agents don't have processes in place. And most agents don't even have a plan, right?
Right.
We are now finishing 2023, and I bet you $1,000, more than 50 or 60% of agents don't even have a business plan going into 2024.
Yeah, we have 2 weeks.
Right? So they have this magic number in the head. Oh, I want to make $500,000. I want to make $100,000. I want to sell 50 homes. I want to sell. When I hear those numbers from agent, for me, just noise, right? A good agent would tell me, hey, man, in 2024, I'll be calling 40 people a day. I'll be hosting 12 open houses a month. I'll be doing this, I'll be doing this. If I do that, I'm confident I'm going to be closing 10 transactions.
And it's easy to extrapolate, right? You say,
Right.
hey, I want to make $100,000. On an average deal, I make $10,000. To get a deal, I have to talk to 100 people. If I want to get this many deals in a year, I need to talk to 100 people every day for this many weeks. You know,
Right.
you just keep going. I mean, we said in the last episode how you connect the dots backwards. Same sort of thing. Figure out what you want to make, work backwards from there, be realistic with yourself as far as what the numbers go. Don't say, I need to talk to one person a day to get one lead that's going to transact. That's not necessarily how it works.
I mean, even Armorzy, I don't think he has that,
Not
that
quite.
conversion rate.
Not
right?
quite. So if you have a question on like general conversion rates for lenders and realtors, we're happy to help you with that. That's
Definitely.
probably the one piece of the puzzle that if you're new, you just don't know. And it's going to be a little bit lower for somebody that's new because, again, you have to build those skills, right? You talking to 100 people now that you have all your skills is going to get more sales than somebody that's just starting that's going to do 100 calls.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is, I don't know if you read this book, The Compound Effect, right? Let's say your first year, you talk to like 1,000 people, and you add those 1,000 people into a database. Now, when you're adding into next year, you need another 1,000 people, but you've already had 1,000 people in your database. So at the end of 2024, now you are going to have 2,000 people in your database.
Yep.
And then adding into the next year, you add another 1,000. Now we have 3,000. And like every single year you're adding people, you are adding more people into your database. And at some point, that compound effect will start not producing. And now all of a sudden, you have referrals coming all over the place.
Yep.
Because of the relationships you built 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? You don't have to do all of this hard work forever.
Right.
It's the compounding effect. And then you were talking about having 5,000 people in your database. That means you had at least 5,000 conversations. Think how good you'll be at conversating 5,000 conversations from now.
Right.
Probably pretty good.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, for agents struggling or even not closing any deals this year, you are not alone. There are a lot of agents out there.
Or if you're a new agent or an agent that's trying to revamp kind of your whole thing and you want a lender partner to help you with kind of your vision or plan for next year, happy to help. Reach out. I will sit down with you. I will do a business plan. We can work backwards like what I was talking about as far as like, here's what you want to make, all the way down to here's how many people you need to talk to per day.
Right.
And then if you just do that thing, it's like clockwork. It will happen. It's not if, it's when.
Right. Definitely.
Happy to help.
Yeah. And then the last thing I would say is do not be afraid of change, right?
Yeah.
If you keep on doing the exact same thing you were doing in 2023, don't expect to get different results into next year. You are going to get the exact same thing. So don't be afraid of change. Look at yourself in the mirror. Are you a good fit with all the activities you're doing? Are you a good fit with the people you are surrounded with? Are you a good fit with whatever around you that's going to help you drive the business? Because at the end of the day, it's all about you and your business.
Right. And if you're happy with what you did this year, then do the same shit next year.
Double down.
That's fine.
Yeah, double
But
down.
if you're not,
then you
take
need to
some
change.
action steps right now. You have 2 weeks till the end of the year. Take some action steps to make sure it happens.
Definitely.
And when this comes out, you probably won't even have 2 weeks, but just make it happen.
It's gonna be too late.
Yeah.
But at least you know exactly a few steps you need to do in order for you to get there. And if you have any questions or whatever, we are going to leave our calendar or links below. Feel free to book a call with either me or Jake, and we are going to help you get to the next level. No strings attached to it.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Of course not.
Reach
Never.
out to us. We're going to help you out.
Sweet.